Joe from Rise Against.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. How's your day been so far?
Amazing. It feels so good to finally get back over here.
Yeah.
And also, like, the icing on the cake is we finally got to play main stage.
Yep.
That's awesome. Our longtime producer, his band's playing the other stage, so we got to hang out with him.
Nice.
So it's been great. It's been a good day.
Good. And you get to play some new tunes as well.
We did, yeah. We played Nowhere Generation off Nowhere Generation, and then we played Last Man Standing off our new EP.
Yeah, new single.
Yeah, new single.
Tell us about that one, because that's the one we'll play after this interview.
Yeah, so when Tim and I got together to start writing the new record, and we wrote like 18 songs, but we didn't want to put all of them on the LP.
Yeah.
So we kind of had it in our minds, like we'll eventually do an EP, like, you know, the following year, which is now. And it was really hard to pick and choose what songs were going to go on which release. So I think we have a good mix of all the styles that we do as Rise Against on both releases. But Last Man Standing was one of the popular songs for the EP, and it seemed like the obvious choice for the single.
Yeah.
And it's, for me, like, I wrote the music for that song, and it's so fun to play because it's really bass driven.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of my faves.
Yeah, good. And obviously, writing Nowhere Generation, the album, was kind of mostly done during the pandemic.
Like before.
It was before the pandemic.
We literally finished the week before lockdown.
That was lucky.
It was crazy because it's like, hey, we have a new record done. Oh crap, we have to wait to put it out. It's like, and we weren't sure. Like everyone, you weren't sure.
No, yeah.
How long? So in my head, I'm like, this could be like 5 years. Like, you never know.
Yeah.
But here we are.
I know. So what kept you busy in that time then?
We tried to do as many Zoom interviews as we could.
Yeah.
We did a lot of like social media, just like I would do like bass run-throughs of songs, like on my Instagram account. And then a lot of family time because like our kids are home from school.
Yeah.
So I tried to be there to help them with their homework. I was there literally all day. So,
yeah.
So it was nice to be, with them and just to make it seem as quote unquote normal as possible. It's challenging, but got through it.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Now, Download is kind of right at the very start of a nice big summer run of dates.
Yeah.
I bet you can't wait to be playing across not just here, Europe, and back in the States as well.
Absolutely. It's funny because we've been a band for so long. I definitely took for granted what playing music live does to me. It's such a release.
Yeah.
It's such a huge part of who I am. So, I mean, like most people, most musicians during the pandemic, like I literally didn't know what to do with myself. Like I would just pace around the house, and my wife would be like, "Can you calm down for 5 minutes?" But I was so used to getting on the road and traveling and moving around. Like I don't know how to I just don't know how to settle into like a normal schedule. It's weird.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, obviously, when you guys are in the studio, I like to find out how it works for you guys, because every band is different. When they walk into that studio to record tracks, to even write tracks, how does it start? How do you create the end product?
So typically, Tim and I will write music separately, and then we'll compile like our songs independently, and then we'll meet at a studio or rehearsal space and show each other what we have, and kind of like start honing in on what are the strong songs and the not so strong songs, and and then we usually like bring in our producer Bill, and we just start hashing it out, and then that plants the seed, and then once we get like a good solid foundation, then we bring in Tim and Brandon to work on it as a band, and that's usually the fine tuning kind of thing where some people will say like, maybe we should play this part short, longer, shorter, things like that.
Yeah. And what about when you're recording it? Do you go in and play it live, kind of as a whole band, or do you do it layered up in individual parts? Or?
We layer it up, but what's interesting? Brandon, our drummer, goes first, but he does it with no music.
Yeah.
He does it with just a click track.
Yeah.
He like whenever we try to play along with him, he gets distracted.
Really?
And he does such a good job at remembering where he should be in the song, so he just goes through it alone.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you guys have been a band for like over 20 years
Yeah,
now. Yeah, it's
yeah.
been a while. How has the band, how has the music, how has everything evolved in those years?
It's interesting. It's something I never thought about until the pandemic, where we're around each other more than we're probably with our wives.
Yeah.
And we all grew up together, but I think it's interesting. Like with any industry, the older you get, you just see things differently. And I think generally speaking, we try to progress musically as songwriters, but you also want to maintain the core sound of the band.
Yeah.
So you just try to think of like newer ways to achieve maybe like a more aggressive song, and as long as it's sincere and not forced, then it'll come across that way.
Yeah.
I hate when bands they're like, oh, we have to write a song that's fast punk rock. And
Yeah.
then it sounds like it's obvious,
Yeah.
So as long as it's still coming from the heart.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is challenging though, and you don't want to like rehash old ideas.
No, indeed. Yeah, yeah. And because you've been around for so long in this band, you must have advice that you'd want to give a brand new band. Let's say they're just setting up, or they're one of the first people on stage here today. What's that one piece of advice that you would give a new band today?
Rehearse as much as you can, because I think that seems to get lost a little bit. I think with everyone that has like Apple computers or whatever in their houses, everyone can record in their homes, and it's easy to edit yourself to where you sound good. But like you have to sound good. So just rehearse as much as you can, and be aware of what the other band members are playing. Make sure you're strumming the same way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like, bands get to the studio and you're like, oh, you're playing it that way? So, like, that's important.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, Joe, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Having a chat with you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Cheers.